3, 2, 1, go. This is a debate about the people who suffer from extreme poverty, the people who are neglected from the country and hoping to gain little help, to gain something from the citizen, from the government can do something for them. So they're hoping all their wishes on the city's government. So before I begin with my second and third arguments and clarify some points, I'd like to point out some rebuttals. So first thing they say is that it is a short-term solution that is not going to help us. But we already told you that even though this is a short-term solution in the city school now, but we are transforming the money. We are saving the money for a long run. For example, we can build infrastructures in the long run to exchange our angle for slum tourism as a way to support the early stage of economic development, so that it can last it in the long run. And it is a short-term solutions in the city school now. So because the people there are urgent, the people there are already suffer from extreme malnutrition, the people there are already dying every day. So we believe that it is necessary for us to do our plan now. The second thing they say is that we are keeping the money, but we believe that we are part of the money. We can give it to the citizens who are already suffering, for them to buy food, for them to have a better shelter, or we can save the money for a long run. For example, the government can save the money in order to build hospitals, in order to build schools in the long run. And so we're not sure what... No, thank you. So the second thing we'll have to point out is that we value the people's life the most, because since they are suffering, they are dying from malnutrition. We believe that's what we should do urgently. So our definition, I'll clarify some point. First thing is that they only have primary industry mainly, which is only low income, and we believe that our plan will work because it is lower cost. It doesn't require much education for the citizens, so that when the slum tourists they can already gain money and use the money to build up the early stage infrastructure. So that's the first thing. And secondly is that they are relatively unknown internationally. For example, so that it is necessary for them to gain visible internationally. For example, there will be YouTubers coming from other internationally, and they'll gain support from organizations, donation, or even fundraising. And there'll be more volunteers and local charity focus on those people. So that's the third thing. And the third thing we've already told you is empathy. Because when tourists come, they will obviously see how poverty looks. They'll obviously changes their mind of poverty purchasing, for example, souvenirs, pay local guide, and daily necessities, so that they will gain empathy, wanting to help them to change help them change their situation. So the third thing we already told you is that they said that we already told you that Okay, so this is a short-term plan and it's really helpful. So our second plan is that why is it most efficient to improve the city school? Because we already told you that we can gain donations from the outside world, we can gain international support, international visible. So that's more important because it is lasted in the long run. So a third thing we have to point out is how tourism impacts local, because they can gain empathy, as we mentioned before. There will be donations from outside. In comparison, there's a low cost of production in the
information.
Okay.
Are you aware that donations might not be the best, especially giving them to people, because it discourages them from getting an education, because they believe that begging will be enough to make them a living?
We believe that donation is necessary, since we already told you that donation can help them in the short-term round, which is what they need to buy food, they need to buy resources, and we can use the extra money, for example, to save the money for building the infrastructure in the long run. And we're talking about this in the short term, so right. Okay, so move on to our next point. So we believe that tourism impacts in the local is necessary, because it is a gain of visible in international stage, and it is crucially important for us. So we believe that slum tourism, the characteristics of people who live in the slum are extreme poverty. So after the economy grows stably, we can transform the way of earning the profits into building infrastructures, just as we mentioned before. And why we believe that we cannot build infrastructure in the first place, because there are low potential to develop business, because they're not welcome for corporations to invest, because since their situation there, their environment there, the companies tend to seek for places with fundamental infrastructure. So you cannot build infrastructure in the first place. They don't have the money, and the environment is not accepted. So that's why we believe that we should first help the citizens in order to bring a solution to the status quo in the first place, which is the social round, and we can transform the money into long-term infrastructure. So, right. So I'll end my speech here. We're so proud to propose.